Hello and welcome to another session of Kasi Talk, a platform where we engage entrepreneurs and business-minded people alike and get to find out what a day in their life looks like. Today we're in conversation with Ruth Africa. She's the CEO and founder of 1981. Hi Ruth.
Hi, how's it?
Thank you so much for coming, or
Very
joining
welcome.
us rather, or having us.
Very welcome
Thank
to
you.
my favorite coffee shop.
Yes. We're
Love
shooting
it.
on site today.
Yeah.
We're in your element.
Yes. I love this place. It's in
Yeah.
Alberton, South. It's called Loire Bakery. Great wraps, great chicken.
Yeah. This is where you unpack your mind a bit.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's very chilledy. I love it. Like it's trees outside and,
Yeah.
love it.
Tell us about Ruth. Who is Ruth?
She's
Just the blossoming of Ruth.
I'm just a person from Johannesburg, the south of Joburg. So I went to school, went to the University of Johannesburg, did postgraduate studies in China, lived there for a minute, and then spent some time in the States as well, and then lived in Ghana. And then I moved home about 2 years ago, and that's when I was in Ghana, that's where I started selling socks. I was trading socks because I needed some extra money, and this is how I was side hustling. When you don't get your salary on time, this was, up until this was my story. And then I couldn't compete anymore with the traders that were doing the same thing. Then we started designing. But then I moved home and I realized that I can compete, and here we are about 18 months later. This is the space that we're in. We're finding our feet, slowly but surely.
Let's talk a bit about entrepreneurship. Is there a history of entrepreneurship in your family?
Probably. I think my dad was always hustling. What that hustle was exactly, I'm not so sure, but they were always hustling somehow, somewhere, trying to sell something. My mom was always selling something, trying something new. So I think that's where it came from, but I think it was never formalized, where, where they build the structures, and, it was just something, like if there's Tupperware, for example, then she'll sell Tupperware until she gets bored of it and then try something else. Like that. So that's where I guess where it came from, but never created something and like built it from the ground all the way
so
up.
The genesis going up and maintained it. Okay. Do you think that entrepreneurship is something that should be taught in schools?
I think the fundamentals of it, yes.
Okay.
I think there's a very important thing that a formal education does for you. It teaches you how to get organized, check your balances, be accountable. But I also think that when it comes to, like if you look at successful businesses, there's an instinct that people have, like working in the garage until wee hours of the morning, not seeing people for days, and coming up with a computer brand, or sitting in the kitchen and mixing something and then you have a hair product. That's instinct when you believe in it.
Okay.
I don't think that can be taught.
Okay.
But I don't think that if you don't have that kind of instinct, that you can't be successful.
Okay.
I think there are very special people that have that kind of instinct where they can just survive, and they just find something and they believe in it so badly. Like the kid that started Facebook, if you watch the movie, if you watch how he was sitting and coding, doesn't go to class because he believes, and he just wants to get to the end of it. And I think, or whatever that may be. So I think that instinct is not something that can be taught.
So would you then consider that instinct as a born talent?
I do think so, because I also believe that leaders are born.
Okay.
I think leaders are born. I think most leaders are manufactured because they learn and they like something. They develop a passion for it. But the leaders that you see that have been the greatest in the world, they were born like that.
Born with it.
They were born with that instinct again, where they just know how to lead. They just know how to gather people or do stuff for people without the planned or the marketing that goes with it to make it see, oh, look at me. I've helped a community. You just go and do it because it's something that comes natural to you.
What does your business do?
We actually have something unique. We sell socks.
Okay.
And we have the matching undies. What a mission. But it's so hard. Like it's so hard. But we busy building a brand.
Yes.
The socks is not the end game.
Okay.
because I think there'll come a time where colorful socks will not be the thing anymore, and we still need to exist as a brand. So long term for me would be to be one of the most recognizable brands in Africa. And once you are a recognized brand in Africa, the world will come. If once the Africans believe in you, and when I say us, we are everywhere in the world.
Yes, that's true.
The African diaspora, they are everywhere, and they will support. They will. I'm very aware, and especially if we're producing quality. So our story, I'm so determined to make the story a South African story first and then an African story, because we need to build legs in SA, because this is home. You can't expand if you don't have, what are you expanding if you don't have something to expand?
What are you expanding?
What are you expanding? So we
true.
produce here, we design here, we manufacture here, we do everything here. If you go and you see great countries that have done well, you see that there's when they start they manage to develop their brands in a way that their own support it. So it becomes a local.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
So it becomes a thing that they are.
It's tailored.
And I have had people that have asked me, "Are you South African?" Yes. "Are you a proudly South African brand?" Everything, and immediately people buy.
So I'm gonna bring the conversation back to our our 1981. You said the name came from the year your parents got married.
Yes.
So the inspiration thereof, is it tied to the idea of legacy? Is it tied to the idea of the legs that you're landing in South Africa?
In the beginning, my siblings were like, "No, you are cheese. You are corny. Stop it." I was like, "Think about it." Then I think my sister came and she's like, and then Joshua slept on it, and then he was like, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, when I started unpacking, and I said the good that is associated with a mother and a father that just did what they could to give us what they could and help us to dream in color, because they didn't grow up in, we have difficult circumstances in South Africa. And if your parents were able to help you dream in color, if you've got 10 things on the list and you've done 2 or 3 of those things, I think you should be grateful. So I thought that's a nice way to just, I mean, and I needed a story, you know. I needed a story that's going to stick with people and something that people can relate to, and you can see that there's values.
Okay.
The company is founded in values, it's in values. And
well, that sort of helped you tailor make the trademark.
Yeah.
So the trademark is around that. Is around.
I just need a logo.
Togetherness is around. That structure and that legacy. I think you can agree that what they were instilling was absolutely in line with developing a legacy that would far supersede itself.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, so we'll be right back.
Awesome.